Okay, good evening, and thank you for everyone coming out tonight and coming to BuildUp's first panel discussion event. What I would like to first do is give the mic to our TAG representative to let them say a few words.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and I'm on the marketing team here at TAG. I'd like to thank you all for coming, and we're really excited to be hosting BuildUp, so thank you all for coming out tonight. Some of you may not have heard of TAG before, so just a quick introduction. We are a social network for meeting new people. We have over 300 million members, so we're pretty big, we're worldwide. People use TAG in over 200 countries. So if you'd like to learn more about us, you can check out our corporate site about.tag.com or come find me after the panel and I'll be happy to answer any questions. All right, thanks.
So once again, thank you for coming out tonight. I'd like to tell you a little bit about BuildUp. So BuildUp is a firm focused on inclusion and is also designed to connect, mentor, and educate technology entrepreneurs. We're also dedicated to growing global innovations by bringing innovators together of different backgrounds and experiences, as you'll see tonight. BuildUp partners are myself, Christian Anderson, Christina Omari, and the one and only Wayne Sutton. We would like to give a really big thank you to our partner and sponsors as well. So Mr. Steve Blank, who wasn't able to make it tonight, and then also TAG, of course, thank you. Women Who Code, and also PR Summit as well. So follow BuildUp on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter, and hashtag BuildUpVC, and that will be it. So as we will get things started, here's Wayne.
Hello everyone. Now everybody been networking, talking, and now just got quiet. Everybody's like, all right, chill out, have fun. This is talking about building innovation, have a good time, and hopefully in the day, you learn something and you're empowered. So my task tonight is to be the moderator of the panel, building innovation, and it's kind of like long. It's like we're talking about wearables. Everybody's talking about 24 the year of wearables. Talking about drones. We're talking about, and if people know me or follow me on Facebook, I love drones. I don't own a drone because I know if I get a drone, that's all I would play with is my drone. and patents was something I don't think is talked about enough in this space. And also couldn't have a panel talking about investment and so forth without talking about venture capital and also talking about hardware startups. So I'm really excited about the panelists that we're having tonight. And I'm going to introduce each panelist and let them say a quick short, about them and about their company. And then each panelist is going to have an opportunity to have a seat. So it's kind of like, a 3 to 5 minute show and tell. And then from there I get into the Q&A, then you can ask questions. I'm pretty sure you have some questions for the panelists, and we'll go from there. We'll do ladies first. So, with that being said, she's up front, center, looking at an iPad. TD Lowe, good friend and founder of EnovationNation. And TD co 35 minutes, tell us story, and have a seat.
Hi guys, thank you all for coming tonight. I think what Wayne and BuildUp VC are doing is really remarkable, especially considering myself being a person who's underrepresented in the Valley. I think it's really critical to have those opportunities. One of the things that I believe is that skill, ability, and education are universal, but opportunity is not. And so that's one of the things that we really want to overcome, and that's the foundational principles of EnovationNation. Just to give you a bit of background, EnovationNation started in my heart and in my mind as a 4th grader because I shared my idea with the Fortune 50 company. They took it, built a product, and I never received a dime. And I didn't understand as a 4th grader that what really mattered or gave you the currency to be able to participate in an innovative ecosystem was having some intellectual property rights. So as a 4th grader, I made myself a promise that someday I would create a way that ordinary people like the 4th grade me could have these wonderful ideas and be able to own them, and then ultimately find an ecosystem where those ideas can live, thrive, and ultimately be monetized. So that's all about EnovationNation, and I would tell you more about myself, but really I'm not that interesting. It's more exciting for you guys to be here to learn really the value that you're going to get from the panelists tonight.
Give it a hand. Next up, friend, investor, somebody who I admire. I don't think he knows this, but yeah, I look up to. I'm glad to have met this gentleman a couple years ago, and while he was very wise, and we just bought Marlon Nichols, Marlon C. Nichols. We'll let Marlon come up and tell a little about him and Intel Capital. He's a compliment fellow as well.
Marlon Nichols, I'm with Intel Capital. For those of you that don't know, Intel Capital is the global equity investing arm of Intel Corporation. We put to work somewhere between $300 to $500 million per year, investing in startups focused on technology. I'm literally focused on the early stage, so I look at a lot of seed and Series A deals, particularly in the space of perceptual computing. Anyone know what perceptual computing is? Two. Okay. Well, it's the human device interface, essentially. So what I'm going after is to create a natural and seamless interaction between devices and humans. So just like we can communicate and it feels natural, you should be able to have that experience with devices. My background, I started off in enterprise software. I was with an early employee with the company based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Helped grow that company and was responsible for launching operations in Europe. Ended up selling that company to SAP. And then I did a stint in management consulting, doing strategy work for media and entertainment companies like McGraw-Hill and Warner Music Group. Fun part of my life. Also an MBA at Cornell. I've been here in the Valley for about 3 years now, and the entire time I've been with Intel. So that's me.
Great, thank you. Up next, first, who is wearing a wearable device here? Who has a wearable device? Wow, that's like 2%. There'll be more. Okay, regardless, this guy next coming up is Kyle, and I keep on saying Kyle Elliott. It's not it.
It's okay. You're not the first person.
But Kyle is one of the co-founders of Wearable World, and if you don't know, they have a great wearables accelerator in San Francisco. They got a exciting conference coming up called BlazeCon. I'll let him tell you about. But Kyle.
Thank you very much, buddy. First off, we have 2 drones in our office,
okay.
So you can stop by any time and you can control them with Google Glass.
Okay.
And I pay for the property tax,
okay.
The insurance, so you can break anything you want.
Awesome.
So there you go. So you don't have to worry about it. You're not liable.
Don't find me. Yeah. I'll be at work.
So I've got your back on that. And even though this is being recorded, I hope that doesn't get used for it. Hey guys, I'm Kyle. As Wayne mentioned, I'm the co-founder and CTO of a company called Wearable World. First off, I want to thank you guys very much for the team of Build Up for inviting me tonight. This is an exciting event. At Wearable World, one of the things that we focus on is the wearable and Internet of Things industry. So here in San Francisco, we have a media and venture company. We work with people like Intel Capital on an investment side of an incubator, where we work with multiple companies twice a year to help drive innovation. So when it comes to innovation tonight, this is what I get to work with on a day-to-day basis. Intel invests in it, I get to work with it. Get to kind of hang out with toys like drones and Google Glass. At the same time, we get to throw conferences and events surrounded by these industries, along with innovation. As Wayne mentioned, we have a large conference coming up in about a week and a half, so June 3rd and 4th, BlazeCon, which is all around the business of wearables. And we're now accepting applications for our next class right now, so if you're interested in wearables or the Internet of Things, feel free to come talk to me, and I've got discount codes for all of you, and this is all just shameless promotion for myself. But yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, been in tech and innovation for a long time as well, so I'll stop there.
Awesome. Next up is a lady who I've seen speak online, never met in person until about 3 minutes ago. And but I'm very impressed with her work and her company's work, and not just in terms of just because I like drones, but because of what the company's their goal and their passion to do in terms of using drones in terms of empowering others for the greater good. And her name is Paola Santana. Yeah.
It's Paola, so you got it right. Hi everybody, I am Paola Santana. I'm co-founder and chief regulatory officer of Matternet. It's a cool startup, Another part, we're hiring a bunch of people, so if you got the skills and want to do something with us, just ping me. Basically, we're building networks of drones to do autonomous transportation in places with no roads or with very inefficient infrastructure. We started 3 years ago out of NASA Ames in Moffett Field. I could say we are the ones behind the hype in drone transportation when nobody thought it made any sense at all. Our drones fly totally autonomously, and we've done some very cool work with people and organizations that we think it will have a higher impact than just flying drones and playing with them around. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And we have a couple of more than 2 drones, which you cannot control with your
I'm so excited that we get to sit next to each other. This is going to be a lot of fun.
So it's super cool, the whole drone hype, it's super cool, but even cooler is when you take it to a place where there's nothing else and you can see people actually, like receiving goods or getting access to basic health goods and services and other goods that you and I have in a very usual basis, and they just don't. They're not afraid of this technology. They have never seen it before in war, so they're just very excited to see something that they can actually use, operate, and bring benefits to their communities. So that's what we're doing.
Last but not least, Jason couldn't make it tonight. Jason is the CEO and founder of Wearables. Due to travel, but Jason sent us a great replacement. He said better looking, but I let them battle it out. His name is, he's the Chris Kim, and he's the head of product at August Locks. And August Locks is, hardware is a very booming industry right now. Everybody's in the hardware startup. We're talking about for hardware drones. So I'll let Chris tell you about himself and a little about August Locks. It's okay to clap. It's okay to clap.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you to Build Up and Tag for having me here this evening. I hope I'm an acceptable substitute for Jason this evening. But real briefly, August, what we're doing is we're making automatic smart locks for the home. You can think of it kind of like a little robot that fits on the front door of your house, just over the deadbolt, and that way you can use your iPhone or Android phone to walk up to the door, automatically unlock. And you can also invite your friends, family, Airbnb guests, nanny, housemaid, what have you, into your home. And then once they're done with their visit, their access goes away. So you don't have to worry about losing your keys, distributing them, getting them back from people, worrying about people breaking into your house, that kind of thing. So that's what that's what our first product is. We're also looking at other aspects of the connected home space, but that's that. Just a little bit about myself. I started out my career in consulting as well in Boston many years ago, and I spent the last 10 or 15 years here in the Valley, internet product management, Bank of America, eBay, that kind of thing. But in talking with a lot of you and learning more about what Build Up does, I find it really interesting because one of my other interests is actually economic development. I spent some time in Jamaica working on a USAID project, working with networks of small farmers, trying to figure out how to use technology to improve their crop yields, their supply chains, and basically improve their ability to have more consistent and higher incomes and selling to the resorts in the area. So I'm really interested both in the panel as well as the questions from the audience. I'm really excited about this evening. Thank you.
Great. And we are recording the panel. And so, and see these panelists speak up. You two share the mic, and you three, or you two share the other mic as well. And after, which is big science. Cool. Awesome. So, who has a question for the panelists already? 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. All right. Well, if you don't have a question, get a question ready. I'm going to jump. I have some questions prepared, and then I'm going to turn it over to the audience. And the title of the session, all our sessions as we move forward, is Building Innovation. And so forth, and that's something we're really passionate about, and we feel like we're about to become this new innovation community now. Technology is at a point where it's like it's cool to be an entrepreneur. Let's talk about how can we solve real problems outside of just mobile apps and so forth. But I would like to ask the panelists in terms of a building mindset. Each of you play a role in that. So how do you come to a building mindset to make you want to be part of your career path? Yeah.
I think the the defining quality, if you will, of a builder. Is that better? Thank you. I think one of the defining qualities of a builder is someone who doesn't live in today. Meaning, if all of your thoughts are about today, then you probably aren't a builder. Builders are people who are constantly thinking about what tomorrow is and what we will make tomorrow be. And so I think that, being a builder, we're a very special group of people. Doesn't mean that, we're better than those who, of course, live in today, but part of what we do at EnovationNation is to help those who do live in today think about tomorrow. And it goes back to what Chris said about, socioeconomics. A lot of times when you are in an environment where you're thinking about eating today, where am I going to sleep tomorrow, there isn't a lot of time that's lended for thinking about tomorrow other than survival. So one of the things that we do at EnovationNation is we work with kids, we work with teenagers, because we want them to start thinking more creatively about their environment. And so we're trying to build another generation of builders. My 8-year-old nephew always tells me, and this is a joke between us, he calls me T. He says, T, why don't you call Elon Musk and tell him I'm a builder like he is? I'm like, yeah, I'll call him tomorrow, tell him exactly what you said. But he already has a mindset that tomorrow is what he makes it, and not what everyone tells him that it is. And so I think that ultimately that's what makes a builder. Those are the key qualities of a builder. And building innovation ultimately determines what our tomorrow looks like.
So from an investor standpoint, builders are those that look to make the world a better place. No, seriously. Builders I think, are looking to solve real problems, right? So they're curious, but they're also creative. So they're looking for new ways to fix things that are broken, and that's what I look for in the companies that I invest in. Like, is this something that people actually need, want, and that's what I think separates, I guess, a dreamer from a builder. Because once you tackle something that's real, you can actually get to a true solution and build something. So that's my perspective.
So definitely agree with both points before. And I think for me and in the space that we're in, one of the things I deal with is not just the builders, but also the makers. And that's kind of what a lot of this industry is referred to as. And for me, I always think back when I was a little kid playing with Legos and Lincoln Logs and building things that had no existence at that time. I mean, Millennium Falcon doesn't exist, so they say. But I was trying to build it with Legos. And when I work with the companies and look at the entrepreneurs who are accepting in, I mean, that's what I look for. I look for that same kind of twinkle or the same kind of vision in their eye of how can I build this? With these pieces, how can I create something? So again, back in creation, being creative is definitely the defining factor of being a builder. And again, living in the future, building something for a better tomorrow.
Personally, I think everybody is a builder. Just that we build things in different ways, and depending on what your context provides to you, you do different things with that. So for example, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I didn't understand entrepreneurship. I didn't understand the word until very recently, maybe 4 years ago. But my mom has always been an entrepreneur. When in the Dominican Republic, nobody knew about alternative medicine and alternative ways to not be invasive in the body. My mom set up a whole business around that. And then my whole family did the same. So you see people trying to build stuff, to make stuff, even to think and execute on what their vision is. And that was a different concept of being a builder. Here you come and then you have another set of tools, like you come in San Francisco and everybody's trying to build something. Who here is an entrepreneur? Who has a side project? Who is working with a couple of colleagues on the side doing something that you're just excited about and has nothing to do with what you studied, with what you're working, or any skills that you have. You're just learning on the way. So I think everybody inherently has this creative spark that you can actually turn into, that you can materialize with the things that you have around. And depending where you live or what's your environment, you can either, push that very hard, or you can just like not even be aware that you can do it. So that's what I think.
Thank you. I would also agree with what's been said so far. I think one other thing that I would talk about is that a builder mentality, I think for me at least, starts out with understanding. Understanding your environment, looking around and seeing and being able to notice and be aware of the problems that exist. I think one of the things at August, for example, was that when we were first getting going, I was thinking, is this kind of a 1% problem? Am I just solving problems for techies with a lot of money who live in Silicon Valley? And in speaking with more and more people out there, what I found, there was a unique segment, particularly amongst women, who were concerned about physical home safety, right? There were many people who would leave the house and be like, did I lock the door? I can't remember. Is it locked? Is it not locked? Who is coming in and out of my home, right? And that was actually very, very interesting to me, and that actually gave me a great amount of additional passion for continuing to work on this project and continuing to build it. And I think that's always really, really important. Just having an awareness or sensitivity to what's going on around you, seeing the problem, and then, as everyone has said, anybody can be a builder. At that point, you get the passion, you see what the problem is, and you fight for it.
Awesome, great feedback. I'm gonna jump to some industry questions for each one of you. So we start off with Chris. Connected home is now a buzzword now. Everybody's working on connected home, from whether it's your lock or your refrigerator, other devices, power devices. What is it like, and what are some of the challenges working on a hardware startup versus some of your previous experience? What do you see different from other software startups?
Sure. I mean, I think in any new industry, there's always the challenge of what is hype, what is reality. Definitely seen it with a lot of different software and things like that, or any company or any place. But in particular within the connected home, I think the vision of the Jetsons home in the future has been around for decades. Ever since X10 in the 1970s, people are talking about roughly the same vision. You walk inside, the lights automatically turn on, the music turns on, your TV, etc., your housing, heating and cooling, it all just works. And it hasn't. And I think that's one of the huge challenges that continue within the connected home space. There's a lot of promise of different technologies and components that we are using. For instance, our device happens to use Bluetooth Low Energy. We're dependent upon both Google and Apple for providing good software stacks. We're dependent upon TI and Nordic for providing good chips. And everything that they publish, all the devices and things like that, all the software stacks and SDKs, it's always a real challenge to get everything to work together well. And that additional hardware component, that additional real-world aspect, just getting everything working for your own single point solution is a big enough challenge in and of itself, above and beyond what a typical software startup goes through. But in addition to that, if you want to realize the vision of a connected home where everything just works seamlessly, interoperably, very, very challenging, because everybody else is going through the exact same challenges as well.
Great. So for Paola, in the drone space, can you give us some for us, a simple case study in terms of directly like how Matternet works in terms of drone delivery, and then what has been, and you talked about it earlier, but not that, but what has been some of the challenges of raising venture capital for a drone company? Because there's, you may know more data than I have, but there's not many drone companies backed by venture capital.
Well, everything is a challenge because, so it's not about taking a drone, remote controlling it, delivering something, and post a video, and this is cool, and you get $1 million. So at Matternet, what we're doing is creating the drones, creating ground stations, and a software. And the three components are difficult to build, and difficult to coordinate, and difficult to roll out. So you have drones that are autonomous. They use GPS and sensors. They can fly 20 kilometers carrying 5 pounds. And they are not only autonomous in the air, but they're also autonomous on the ground. So when they land on a ground station, the ground station can exchange batteries automatically. So if the drone needs to go on and on and on, they just have to stop, drop a battery, take one that is completely charged, and go to the end destination. And then you have the software controlling all the drones, the stack, the batteries, what they're carrying, where they're going, and being able to provide this information in real time to aviation authorities, because you are flying in a segment of airspace that is empty today, but many people will jump in. I mean, you know, they say the day before an idea is a breakthrough, it's just a crazy idea. So nobody thought this would be possible. Now everybody wants to jump in. So, you know, for VCs, hardware is hard. You're saying that you're going to build all these pieces, and they don't like it. They want to see someone who's just doing this piece, or this part, or hardware, or the software. When you say that you have a very aggressive plan to build the next Apple company of the drone space, they don't like it. So you need to really know what you're after. You really need to know what is the DNA that you want to have in a company, why you're going to go on no matter what. And for us, for example, at Matternet, it took us a while to raise. We've raised over $1 million from Andreessen Horowitz and other very, very visionaries, angel investors. But it took a while, and we had to create the market. We had to work with regulators, and we had to work. We are working with engineers that have never built this before, because people say, well, doing drones is easy, but I don't see any autonomous network of drones delivering stuff today. You see? So there is a difference between the Jetsons and yeah, we're just there, and then 30 years go by and the thing is not there, and I don't want to spend 30 years to see this thing, right? So everything is challenging, but you just have to understand how you're going to build the thing, be there for the long run, because it's a long shot, and then go by stages. And then, you know, some people will get it, like everything in life, and some people will not get it. And you need to work with the people who get it, and will try to be on the same side of the table with you.
Awesome.